What's up, everyone? Today we have a Timecutter SS4235 that I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 things on. Excuse me. But I'm just going to briefly go over one because it's boring. Mainly because it involves that box. It just has like oil and plugs and air filter and stuff like that. Which, side note, if you do buy this kit, it's a Stens kit. It's great. It comes with a filter, oil, the air filter, pre-filter, fuel filter, and I think a label for the filter, which, whatever. Do yourself a favor and take the spark plugs out and throw them directly in the trash and just buy NGKs. Don't use them. They're trash. Okay, now that we have that done, let's continue. So, the other main problems are, you see that little wire? That is the choke. The choke handle, which is supposed to be right there, broke off. So we're going to be replacing that. Second thing is, the owner said that he was trying to get it started. I'm probably not going to be able to see it very well here, so let's go over on this side. And it wouldn't. Well, the blades wouldn't work. And then he showed me right there. I don't know if you can tell, but let's see here if I can reach down. That idler pulley is completely out of its guide, mainly because the bearing is completely broken. So I'm hoping I can just take that battery out, undo the battery tray. The hold down is just a bungee cord, so that should be easy enough, and then do it from there. I'm not gonna do that right now. I want to get this tuned up real quick, so I'm just gonna change the oil. I have a video on that. Put a new air filter on, new spark plugs, all that. I want to get this engine good to go. We're going to replace that idler pulley after that. Fish this through. The throttle goes through this little doorway. Should probably keep it going with that idea. Lock washer nut. You know what? We're going to disconnect this one. Maybe. It's on there pretty good. Where's the nut? There we go. Just need to tighten this down. This one's a 9/16, but yours I suppose could be different. Gonna push this connection in a little bit more. we go. It's a little hard to show you, but basically you just have to reconnect it like that to the appropriate lever. I pushed it all the way down. It was all the way down when I started, so now when I pull on it, it pulls it the other way. So we should be set. So I took the battery and battery tray out. Now, you can't really see me, but I'm just moving the other idler pulley towards me so I can then take the belt off to make it a tad easier. Of course, ideally that's how this would work. Watch is in the way. Let's take that off. Because right now, that's on there very, very tightly. There we go. Whose belt? We have a little working room. I'll take that off. Let's see. I'm thinking a little 9/16 is gonna work. Cover your ears, this might be loud. There, we got it. So we want to look how this is placed. This has like a spacer on the bottom. We see a new one. There's a spacer there, so it goes like this, which makes sense. Take that off. Oddly enough, when I typed this in Google, I didn't even finish typing in anything else and it came up with idler pulley. So I have a feeling this is a fairly common problem. It seems kind of weird there's no washer. Last thing I want to do is cross thread this, but it's not wanting to go in very well. Oh, there is a washer. Or is that the bottom of the bearing? I think it's the bottom of the bearing. It is a little dirty. I'm going to get that cleaned up and clean up the bolt too. Now I know what you're thinking. Couldn't you just buy a new bearing and not have to get the whole pulley? My answer to that would be, first, that's my station, not yours, so I do what I want. Joking, but yes, you could. The problem with that is installing these bearings is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. You're gonna need to press it in, and the sheer act of pressing it in can damage it. I mean, now if you do it right, it's not gonna be a problem. But it's really not that expensive to buy the whole piece. So that's what I did. And as we can see, it spins a lot better. Let's see if I still have it. Aha. Yeah, when he gave it to me, he literally just gave me this. He's like, yeah, this fell out the bottom. And the deck doesn't work anymore. Who would have guessed, huh? So, I'm going to put the belt back on. And we're going to give this a whirl. I do have to sharpen the blades, but I'm not going to do that. I have a video on how to sharpen blades on tractors and zero turns and whatnot. So if you don't know how, make sure to watch that video. I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And I'll see you on the other side. And it's back on. Battery's back on. We should be set to go. One thing about the bearing I was talking about, a lot of times when I was doing research, I mean, considering that was like the very first thing I found, you know, that could be a very, very common problem. Just replacing the bearing, you very well might not be how do I say it? You could be putting the same problem again in the future than it did before. So I like to buy the whole piece, because if it is a common problem, sometimes new pieces will have a fix for that problem. Sometimes no, sometimes yes. You never really know. Sometimes they'll specifically say that, sometimes they won't. You know, it's a give-take relationship on that. Now, I did not run this after the tune-up, so it might take a little cranking. That needs to be down. Let's put that to choke. Find my key. Maybe the throttle wasn't high enough. Let's try it again. Warm it up a little bit. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was just cold. So I'm not too worried about that. Now, does it need a blade sharpening and balancing? Oh, most definitely. But the thing is, the blades move, which is what I was looking for. So I'm happy about that. So, yeah, I didn't want to show beforehand because, to be honest, I was afraid that I might shred the remaining parts of the belt. Well, not shred, but burn it. There's the engine pulley was touching it, and I don't really want to just kind of sit there and rub on it and just kind of burn through it. I mean, you know, it's just not a good idea. Just imagine what you saw now, except without the blades moving. So that should be fairly easy. All in all, this is a pretty easy little process. You can take the deck off and do this, obviously. That seems to be a whole lot harder. I would not recommend doing that. I definitely think this battery is probably needing to be worked on. I did charge it overnight too, so now that potentially could be something I was mentioning before, with it kind of having a hard time cranking. The valves could be out of adjustment, so it's really hard to turn over, or it could just be a bad battery, potentially a bad starter, or a bad connection to a variety of things. So we don't know. We're not going to go down that road. But if you're having a pulley problem, then hopefully this helped out. Something I'm not going to show on camera because it's going to be really difficult to do so, because we're talking, I could barely see, much less me and you. So I'm going to go around and grease the spindles. I believe the grease fittings are on the bottom. I think they're Zerk fittings. They should be Zerk fittings. I hope they're Zerk fittings. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to get those done, because if one is already kind of on its way, I think the others might be needing a little attention, so I'd better give it to them now before I have to replace them later. And right now, since I'm sharpening the blades, it's the best time to do so. I'll have access to it. Okay, I'll catch you on the next video. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Definitely subscribe, and I will see you later. Have a good evening.